Okay, so right on cue, when I said that Jayson Tatum, to me, was not an all-star and I favored, like, Bradley Beal or whoever, Tatum's been playing out of his mind, and he just had his best game of the season, potentially his career against the Lakers in a loss, 41 points. Dude was beating everybody off the dribble, 15 free throw attempts, which was a big question with him. The obvious thing is, of course, with Tatum that he cleaned up his shot selection. Not as many mid-rangers, keeping his dribble alive longer. It helped that he got better as a ball handler, too, because there were times when the defense would be playing him pretty good, and then he would pull up or just kind of pick the ball up and throw it away. Whereas now he keeps his dribble going and he's able to convert it into baskets or getting fouled or making a play for somebody. And it seems like his confidence is at another level at this moment as well. It seems like at some point during this run, he just kind of realized that it's difficult to defend a 6'8" dude who can shoot and dribble and finish. That's another thing. His finishing got better at some point this year, because early on it was weird. He was beating guys off the dribble, but then he was missing layups, and it freaked me out a little bit, and he has cleaned that up a bit since. So I guess the question is, like, what is Jayson Tatum's ceiling? I mean, I think going into this season, I thought his ceiling was 25 points a game on pretty good efficiency and being a very good defender. Or maybe not very good, I might be giving myself too much credit. Above average defensively, certainly. Solid playmaker, good rebounder. Overall, multi-time all-star. Probably not best guy on a championship team. There you go. Is there a chance Jayson Tatum could be one of the 10 best players in the league? I mean, if he keeps up what he did against the Lakers, yeah. I mean, he had, 2 or 3 sidestep three-pointers, a couple of them over Anthony Davis. I mean, the guy's playing at peak confidence right now. If he's taking those, he has taken quite a few pull-up threes where he's getting a screen from somebody and then he just goes up with it with a lot of confidence. And that's the big thing. It's threes and free throws. I mean, if we look at in February, he's shooting 47% on 9 threes a game and he's shooting 78% on 8 free throws. I mean, a lot of this is just math at the end of the day, and he's doing it. But the other thing that's interesting is how the Celtics are rallying around him. I mean, Jalen just had a thing where he said, Tatum is a superstar, whatever that is. And then Kemba said something recently, and Marcus Smart had something earlier about, Tatum is an all-star, playing like one or whatever. That wasn't the whole quote. He was talking about, how the Celtics don't get foul calls or whatever. But he did imply that Tatum is an all-star. So it'll be interesting to see if down the stretch of this season and then into the playoffs, if they view Tatum as the primary option. I mean, their quotes would suggest they would. If I look at Kemba and Tatum's touches per game for the year, they're pretty much neck and neck. Kemba gets a few more, but it's not a lot more. And Kemba does so much off the ball that I don't really think it would hinder his production. That's another thing with the Celtics team is between Kemba, Tatum, Jalen, and Hayward, it never really feels like it's one dude. It seems like everybody is all in on getting their fair share of stuff and not one guy running the show. But again, maybe Tatum will make that a little different. And with how he's been playing lately, I think it's definitely worth considering. The thing about it, too, is because Tatum is such a good shot maker, I would think Stevens could have a bunch of things of Tatum moving off the ball and not just ISOs from the top of the key or hunting mismatches or whatever, but you can do other stuff with Tatum. He can cut, he can hit catch and shoot jumpers, he can, do all that type of stuff. So basically what I'm getting at is I don't think it would be a super difficult transition if this team went from everybody getting theirs to that's still basically the same thing, but Tatum's just going to get a little bit more. Now, it'll be interesting to see if teams dare Tatum to be a passer. The Lakers did that a bit, and they definitely had some success with it. in that game. I mean, that's the one area of Tatum's game that still needs to improve. I mean, I don't think he's a bad passer, and I don't think he reads the game a step slowly, but if you're going to command this much attention from a defense, and the Lakers were just flat out double teaming him last night at stretches, or yesterday because it was in the afternoon, then you're going to have to be able to make some tough passes every now and then. And you know what? He's had a couple of good assist games. He's had, 5 against the Magic, 6 against the Hawks, and he's never been like a huge turnover guy, so that's encouraging. So yeah, and in terms of the other stuff, I mean, defensively, Tatum has been very good this season. His ceiling defensively, honestly, might be like an all-defense candidate. I never thought I'd be saying that about him. I mean, I always liked him on that side of the floor, but I just didn't think he had that in him defensively, but he's been doing it this season, man. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he's on the path to getting to that point. And then rebounding-wise, he's, damn good as a wing and all that. So, yeah, I mean, Tatum is projecting to be a great player the way this is going. I mean, what was it? Didn't he say, like, he strived to be like Paul George? I don't think it's ridiculous to think Tatum can be another Paul George, But with, some apologies to PG, Tatum's definitely farther along offensively than Paul George was at this point in his career. So is Tatum going to be averaging like 29 points a game for the Celtics for the next decade? Maybe. It's certainly not ridiculous to ask. So, yeah.